You're sitting in the waiting area of a car dealership outside Columbus, Ohio on a rainy Thursday afternoon. Two men are waiting for their vehicles to be serviced. Both look to be around 60 years old. Both ordered the free coffee. Both are scrolling through their phones while the television quietly plays financial news in the background. One is wearing a tailored navy suit, polished dress shoes, and a watch that most people would recognize from across the room. Every few minutes, his phone lights up with another email, and he quickly responds before taking another sip of coffee. The other man is wearing faded jeans, an old gray sweatshirt from an Ohio State football game years ago, and a pair of sneakers that have clearly seen hundreds of weekend walks. If someone asked you which one has over $1 million invested, which would you choose? Most people would point to the man in the suit. It seems obvious. But they would almost certainly be wrong. The man in the sweatshirt quietly crossed $1 million in investments nearly 5 years ago. The man in the suit is still carrying nearly $500,000 in debt between business loans, car payments, and a second mortgage. Here's what most people don't realize. The biggest change after investing $1 million isn't that strangers suddenly admire you more. Most strangers never know. The biggest change is that your relationship with uncertainty begins to change. And once that happens, almost every financial decision starts feeling different. Hold on to that. My name is Theo, and I spend far too much time thinking about why some people eventually reach financial freedom while others continue chasing it for decades, even though their incomes often look surprisingly similar. If you enjoy thoughtful conversations about investing, behavioral finance, and building wealth one decision at a time, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribed. It helps this channel reach more people who are trying to build a better financial future instead of searching for shortcuts. When people imagine someone with $1 million invested, they often picture a completely different lifestyle. Luxury cars, large homes, private clubs, expensive vacations. Sometimes those things are true. More often, they aren't. According to research discussed by organizations like Fidelity and Vanguard, many long-term investors who accumulate substantial wealth don't arrive there because they constantly earn extraordinary returns. They arrive there because they keep making ordinary decisions long after those decisions stop feeling exciting. That may not sound very dramatic, but that's exactly why so many people overlook it. Let me introduce you to someone named Michael Jensen. Michael is 57 years old. He owns a small plumbing company in suburban Indianapolis. His business has 9 employees. Some years are excellent, others are frustrating. His income has never been perfectly predictable, averaging somewhere around $165,000 during the past decade. He doesn't consider himself wealthy. In fact, if you asked him to describe himself, he'd probably say he's simply been fortunate enough to keep working. Every weekday begins the same way. He's awake before 6. He pours coffee into the same travel mug he's used for years. He reviews the day's appointments before leaving the house. Nothing about his morning suggests financial success. But after investing consistently for nearly 30 years through retirement accounts, taxable investments, and a diversified portfolio of low-cost index funds, his investments quietly crossed the $1 million mark. He didn't tell many people. His neighbors didn't know. His employees didn't know. Even some of his closest friends had no idea. Because reaching $1 million invested didn't suddenly transform his life overnight. There wasn't a dramatic celebration. There wasn't a moment where everything suddenly became easy. The interesting part came later. Several months after reaching that milestone, Michael noticed something he hadn't expected. The financial questions that had followed him for decades slowly became quieter. Not because life stopped being unpredictable. Life never does. His water heater still failed. His roof still needed repairs. His daughter still called asking for advice. His truck still needed maintenance. The difference was no longer found in the problems. It was found in his reaction to them. Years earlier, every unexpected expense felt like a threat. Now it felt like a decision. Think about that for a moment. The event hadn't changed. Only the emotional weight attached to it had. Behavioral economists have spent years studying how financial pressure shapes decision-making. When people live with constant uncertainty, the brain naturally prioritizes immediate problems over long-term opportunities. Researchers often describe this as a scarcity mindset. It doesn't mean someone lacks discipline. It doesn't mean they make poor choices. It simply means the mind has limited room to think beyond today's concerns when today's concerns feel overwhelming. Now watch what happens when years of consistent investing begin changing that equation. The investment account doesn't just grow. Mental space begins growing alongside it. That's a return most brokerage statements never show. According to surveys from the Federal Reserve, many American households would struggle to cover an unexpected expense without borrowing money, using credit cards, or selling assets. That reality influences thousands of small decisions people make every year, whether to negotiate for a better job, whether to start a business, whether to relocate, whether to retire, whether to simply say no. Money rarely buys happiness directly, but it often buys something that makes happiness much easier to protect: options. And options have a remarkable effect on the human mind. This is where the story becomes much more interesting. Because after $1 million invested, the most valuable asset isn't actually the portfolio anymore. It's the confidence that the portfolio quietly creates. And confidence changes people in ways that almost nobody notices from the outside. Michael didn't wake up one morning feeling like a millionaire. In fact, he still checked prices at the grocery store. He still compared insurance quotes every year. He still waited for sales before replacing things that didn't need immediate attention. Many of the habits that helped him build wealth never disappeared after he reached that milestone. That's another misunderstanding people often have. They imagine wealthy investors suddenly stop thinking about money. The opposite is usually closer to the truth. They simply stop worrying about money in the same way. There's a difference. Earlier in life, Michael worried about whether he could afford an unexpected expense. Now he thought about whether an expense was worth making in the first place. Notice how different those questions are. One comes from fear, the other comes from intention. That shift changes almost everything. Let me show you another example. Emily Foster is 62 years old and recently retired after spending more than 3 decades managing payroll for a regional manufacturing company in Missouri. She was never the highest paid employee in the office. She never started a business. She never bought individual stocks that multiplied tenfold. Instead, she contributed consistently to her 401k, increased her savings whenever she received a raise, and invested most of her retirement money in diversified index funds. Year after year, nothing about her investing seemed remarkable. Then one afternoon, while meeting with her financial advisor, she realized her combined retirement and brokerage accounts had grown beyond $1 million. Her first reaction wasn't excitement. It was disbelief. She stared at the screen for several seconds before quietly asking, "Are you sure that's correct?" The advisor smiled. "It didn't happen today," he replied. "It happened one contribution at a time. That's how compounding usually works. It feels invisible for years. Then suddenly it becomes impossible to ignore." Researchers at institutions like Vanguard and Charles Schwab have often emphasized that long-term investing is driven less by finding perfect opportunities and more by remaining invested long enough for compounding to do its work. Most people understand compounding mathematically. Far fewer understand it emotionally. During the first several years, progress feels slow. The account grows, but not enough to change your life. After another decade, the numbers become more encouraging. Then, somewhere along the journey, investment growth itself begins contributing more than annual contributions. That's when many investors experience a completely different perspective. The money starts working harder than they do. But here's the twist. That doesn't make them work less. It makes them work differently. Michael still ran his plumbing business. Emily still volunteered twice a week at her local library after retiring. Neither stopped being productive. They simply stopped feeling trapped. That's an important distinction. According to research from Gallup, many Americans continue working beyond traditional retirement age, not only because they need income, but because meaningful work provides purpose, routine, and social connection. Financial independence doesn't necessarily eliminate work. It gives people the freedom to choose the work they want to do. That's a very different kind of wealth. Here's what most people don't realize. Freedom often arrives quietly. There isn't a ceremony. Nobody hands you a certificate saying you finally have enough. Instead, it appears in ordinary moments. The meeting you confidently decline because your schedule matters more. The client you politely turn away because the partnership isn't right. The opportunity to spend an extra afternoon with your grandchildren without calculating how much income you're losing. Those moments rarely appear on social media. Yet they may be the greatest rewards investing ever produces. Behavioral psychologists have another interesting observation. People naturally adapt to improvements in lifestyle. A nicer house eventually feels normal. A luxury vehicle becomes your everyday vehicle. The excitement fades much faster than most people expect. Researchers often refer to this as hedonic adaptation. We're remarkably good at becoming accustomed to almost everything we buy. Freedom behaves differently. The ability to choose where you spend your time rarely loses its value. Neither does sleeping well because you know an unexpected bill won't destroy years of careful planning. Think about that. Many people spend decades pursuing visible symbols of success. The people who remain financially secure often become more interested in invisible ones. Peace of mind, flexibility, time. Those assets don't depreciate the way luxury purchases do. There's another change that surprised Michael. He became much less interested in impressing people he barely knew. Earlier in his career, he occasionally upgraded his truck sooner than necessary. Part of him believed successful business owners were expected to drive newer vehicles. As the years passed, that feeling slowly disappeared. Not because he couldn't afford a new truck, because he no longer needed one to prove anything. Researchers studying social comparison have found that people frequently judge their own success relative to those around them. That's perfectly human. But once financial confidence becomes internal rather than external, those comparisons begin losing their influence. You stop asking, "What will people think?" You start asking, "Will this actually improve my life?" Those questions often lead to completely different decisions. And that's where many millionaire investors quietly separate themselves from everyone else. Not through extraordinary intelligence, not through secret investments, but through thousands of ordinary decisions that gradually reshape how they define success. The most fascinating part, however, is still ahead. Because after $1 million invested, the person who starts treating you differently isn't your banker, your neighbors, or even your coworkers. It's the person you see every morning in the mirror. The person in the mirror begins making decisions from a different emotional foundation, not because life has become perfect, not because every investment goes up, not because the future suddenly becomes predictable. None of those things are true. Markets still fall, inflation still shows up, unexpected expenses still arrive without warning. The difference is that uncertainty no longer feels like an immediate threat. It becomes something to prepare for instead of something to fear. That's a subtle change, but it affects almost every part of life. Michael noticed it one evening while sitting at his kitchen table. His wife asked whether they should finally replace the aging windows in their home. 20 years earlier, that conversation would have lasted for hours. They would have discussed financing options, delayed the project until the following year, and worried about what other expenses might appear. This time, the discussion lasted less than 10 minutes. They compared estimates, chose the contractor they trusted most, scheduled the work. The money wasn't the most important part of the conversation anymore. Their time was. That realization stayed with Michael for weeks. He began noticing similar moments everywhere. He no longer accepted every customer simply because turning down work felt dangerous. He hired another employee when the workload became overwhelming instead of trying to do everything himself. He took a week off to visit his son in Oregon without constantly checking business emails. None of those decisions made him richer on paper, but every one of them made him wealthier in another sense. Let's look at the numbers for a moment. Historically, diversified stock portfolios have experienced corrections, bear markets, and periods of extreme uncertainty many times over the past century. Yet investors who stayed invested over long periods generally benefited from economic growth, business innovation, and the power of compounding. That's one reason firms like Fidelity, Vanguard, and Morningstar consistently emphasize long-term discipline over short-term prediction. The numbers tell an important story, but they don't tell the whole story. The emotional return may be just as valuable as the financial one. Behavioral finance research has shown that people often experience the pain of losses more intensely than the satisfaction of equivalent gains. This tendency, known as loss aversion, explains why so many investors panic during market declines. Michael used to feel that way. Every downturn looked like a warning. Now he saw something different. A temporary decline wasn't evidence that his plan had failed. It was evidence that markets were behaving the way markets always have. Experience had replaced panic with perspective. That didn't mean he enjoyed watching his portfolio decline. It meant he understood that one difficult year said very little about the next 20. And perhaps that's one of the greatest changes after investing $1 million. You stop thinking in months. You start thinking in decades. That shift quietly influences everything. You become more patient with your investments, more patient with your career, more patient with yourself. You realize that meaningful progress almost always looks slow while it's happening. Only when you look backward does it seem obvious. This is also why so many people underestimate what they can accomplish over 30 or 40 years. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reminds us that careers are long. The Census Bureau shows that Americans are living longer than previous generations. Retirement itself can last 20 or even 30 years. When you begin thinking across those time horizons, small, consistent decisions become surprisingly powerful. One extra contribution, one unnecessary purchase avoided. 1 year of staying invested when everyone else is afraid. Individually, they don't seem life-changing. Together, they can completely transform a financial future. And maybe that's the biggest misunderstanding about reaching $1 million invested. People assume the number changes who you are. More often, the habits required to reach that number have already changed you long before you ever see 7 digits on a statement. By the time the portfolio reaches $1 million, you've likely learned patience. You've learned restraint. You've learned that confidence doesn't come from predicting tomorrow. It comes from preparing for it. You've learned that real wealth is rarely loud. It doesn't need constant validation. It doesn't depend on strangers being impressed. It quietly gives you something much more valuable. The freedom to make decisions based on your values instead of your fears. So let's go back to those 2 men sitting in the dealership waiting room. One looked successful. The other looked ordinary. Most people judge them within seconds. That's human nature. We naturally notice visible signals: a tailored suit, an expensive watch, a luxury car. But investing has never rewarded appearances. It rewards consistency. It rewards emotional discipline. It rewards people who continue making sensible decisions long after the excitement disappears. The world may never know who has $1 million invested. Most of the time it doesn't matter. Because the greatest reward isn't admiration. It's waking up on an ordinary morning, pouring yourself a cup of coffee, looking out the kitchen window as the neighborhood slowly comes to life, and realizing that your future is no longer controlled by every unexpected bill, every market headline, or every paycheck. That kind of confidence can't be purchased in a single day. It has to be built. One contribution, one decision, one ordinary year at a time. And in the end, that's what truly changes after you invest $1 million. Not the way the world sees you, the way you see the world.